Move it, old man. Some of us have jobs. He didn't answer, just wiped the mirror and opened the door. Same boots, same silence, every day. But that morning, a SEAL recruit in pressed camis froze mid-step on the driver's forearm. Barely visible beneath years of sun and skin was a tattoo no rookie could mistake. The SEAL Trident. The recruit snapped to attention. The driver, he just muttered, "Clock's ticking, sailor," and the whole bus went silent. If you believe real legends don't need introductions, share your thoughts and comment below. Bus 12 arrives at precisely 5:45 every morning, regardless of weather or season. The driver, mid-70s, weathered face eyes like distant thunderclouds, never varies his routine. Wipe mirrors, check gauges, open door, close door, drive. No good morning, no small talk about the weather, just the steady rhythm of a man who treats public transportation like a tactical operation. His name badge reads Ray Dawson, though no one calls him that. To the other drivers at the depot, he's old-timer, or boots, a reference to the heavy military-style footwear he wears despite company-issued uniforms. His jacket faded, navy blue bears, no patches or insignia, yet somehow sits on his frame with unmistakable authority. "Surprised they haven't forced him to retire," mutters Davis, the younger driver, as they watch Ray Dawson methodically inspect his vehicle during the morning check. Probably can't even see over the steering wheel anymore. Ray Dawson's left sleeve remains permanently rolled to just below the elbow, not high enough to be unprofessional, but enough to cool his forearm, or perhaps for another reason entirely. "He's like a machine," Davis continues. "Same route, same face, probably dreams in bus schedules." What the depot manager knows but rarely mentions is that Ray Dawson has never been late. Not once in 12 years, not during the blizzard of 18, not during the downtown flood, not even when the transit union went on strike and half the fleet called in sick. This morning as Route 12, Guamajuan through the Naval Base District, a young man in crisp camis boards. His posture is ramrod straight, his haircut fresh enough to smell the barber's talcum powder. "Good morning, sir," the recruit says, military courtesy, automatic in his bearing. Ray Dawson's eyes flick briefly to the rearview mirror, then back to the road. No response. The recruit takes a seat near the front, one of only 3 passengers this early. He watches the driver's movements with growing curiosity. The way Ray Dawson's eyes constantly scan the mirrors, the precise economical gestures as he shifts gears, the almost imperceptible adjustment of his posture before each turn. At the Market Street stop, an elderly woman struggles to board with grocery bags, one split spilling apples across the steps. Without a word, Ray Dawson sets the brake powers down the door and kneels to gather the fruit. His movements are efficient, deliberate. When done, he simply nods at the woman's flustered thanks and returns to his seat. The recruit's eyes narrow. Something about this man doesn't fit the profile of a career bus driver. As the morning progresses and the bus fills with commuters, most passengers barely glance at Ray Dawson. They tap phones, doze against windows, or stare vacantly through the glass. They see him, hey, the gray hair, the weathered hands on the wheel, but they don't notice him. But the recruit does. He catalogs each detail, the calluses visible on Ray Dawson's hands, the way he scans each new passenger with a subtle but thorough assessment, the posture that never slumps despite the 3-hour shift. When the recruit disembarks at the training facility, he pauses briefly at the steps. "Thank you for the ride, sir." Ray Dawson's eyes meet his for a fraction of a second, then return to the road ahead. The next morning dawns clear and bright. When the recruit boards bus 12 again, fewer passengers crowd the aisles. He takes the same seat near the front, this time deliberately positioning himself where the rising sun streams through the windows as Ray Dawson maneuvers through a turn. Sunlight catches his forearm at precisely the right angle. They're partially hidden beneath weather-worn skin and faded with age. The unmistakable outline of a Trident anchor and eagle, the SEAL insignia. The recruit's breath catches. He waits until the next stop clears the few remaining passengers from the front section before leaning slightly forward. "Sir," he says quietly, voice pitched for Ray Dawson's ears alone, "were you in?" The question hangs in the air between them. The engine hums. A traffic light changes from red to green, finally without turning. "I was." 2 words, nothing more. But the recruit leans back, understanding the weight behind them. For the remainder of the ride, neither speaks. The silence feels different now. Not the emptiness of strangers sharing space, but the mutual recognition of a shared brotherhood separated only by time. Word travels quickly in military circles. By that afternoon, Messages flutter across group chats and barracks conversations. The old guy driving bus 12, former frogman, you sure? Logan Vance saw the Trident, said the driver confirmed. Within days, a post appears on a Navy subreddit. There's a legend driving bus 12 in Coronado. Recognize the ink. Anyone know his story? Retired Chief Petty Officer Samuel Briggs sees the post. Something tugs at his memory. A name from decades ago. Stories whispered during deployments. He makes a call to an old teammate now working at the Pentagon. That weekend, Ray Dawson's usual half-empty morning bus arrives at the naval base to find a line of 8 recruits waiting in perfect formation. They board silently, each nodding respectfully. One, forgetting himself, begins to raise his hand in salute before catching himself. Ray Dawson's expression never changes, but his eyes hold each young face a moment longer than necessary. On Monday, Major Connor Hale, Naval Intelligence Officer and SEAL historian, boards bus 12 in full dress uniform. The handful of recruits already seated immediately stand. Westfield walks past them to the front of the bus. He stands directly beside Ray Dawson, waiting until the door closes. "Sir," he says, voice clear in the hushed interior. "Permission to ride." Ray Dawson exhales slowly, his eyes meeting Westfield's for the first time. "You got a seat, Colonel?" Westfield sits directly behind the driver. After several minutes of silence, he speaks again, voice pitched low. "I reviewed the files, Commander Dawson. Ray Dawson, Dawson SEAL Team 7, 3 tours, Bronze Star with Valor, missing in action twice, then found. Both times you completed your mission despite injuries." Ray Dawson's knuckles whiten slightly on the steering wheel. "That man retired a long time ago, Colonel. With respect, sir, that's not how it works. You know that better than most." Later that day, Westfield confirms what rumors had only suggested. Bus 12's silent driver is former Commander Ray Dawson. Dawson, once one of the most effective SEAL team leaders in Vietnam. His missions remain largely classified, but his reputation among those who know is unassailable. His presence on a municipal bus route raises questions. Westfield doesn't ask aloud. Some men choose peace in unlikely places. By Wednesday, Ray Dawson's first morning pickup at the naval base includes 15 people, all military, all standing in disciplined silence as the bus approaches. As they board, each nods, respectfully. No one speaks. Ray Dawson drives his route exactly as he always has, precise, focused, silent. But when they reach the training facility, he catches the eye of the original recruit in the rearview mirror. "Logan Vance," he says, the name a surprise on his lips. "Maintain your situational awareness during night exercises. That's where most recruits fail." Logan Vance blinks, stunned at both being recognized and receiving advice. "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." As the recruits file out, Ray Dawson returns his gaze to the road. His sleeve remains rolled to the same precise position, not hiding the tattoo anymore, but not displaying it either. Some truths don't need announcement. They simply are. If you'd stand up for the quiet heroes around you like this, drop a word of respect below. The story of Commander Dawson spreads through naval circles like a current in deep water, invisible from the surface, but powerful beneath. Within 2 weeks, every military member in the coastal town knows the silent man driving bus 12, once led operations that still appear as redacted pages in combat histories. A local news reporter, tipped off by a retired serviceman, attempts to interview Ray Dawson as he completes his end-of-shift checks. "Commander Dawson, we'd love to do a feature on your service and your current." "No interviews," Ray Dawson interrupts, continuing his methodical inspection. "And it's just Ray Dawson now," the reporter persists. "Your story could inspire a lot of people, sir, especially young sailors." Ray Dawson straightens, looking directly at the reporter for the first time. "Young sailors need to focus on their own stories, not mine." The rejection only fuels public curiosity. Discreet inquiries from military publications receive the same response: silence. At the transit center, the administrative director notices the surge of military passengers on Route 12. After confirming Ray Dawson's identity through public military records, he arranges for a small bronze plaque to be installed beside the driver bulletin board, dedicated to Commander Dawson, whose silence taught us more than words ever could. Ray Dawson says nothing when he sees it the next morning. Though his regular passengers notice, he stands straighter if that were possible. His bus becomes something of a rolling sanctuary. Recruits and officers alike treat it with unexpected reverence, speaking in hushed tones if they speak at all. They keep it immaculate, sometimes clearing litter left by civilian passengers. One morning, A teenager boards loudly complaining about the bus's speed while playing music without headphones. "Yo, Grandpa, can't this thing go any faster? Some of us have places to be." Before Ray Dawson can respond, Logan Vance, now weeks into his training, turns in his seat. "Watch your tone," he says, voice low but commanding. "That man bled so you could speak freely." The teenager, startled by both the intervention and the intensity in Logan Vance's eyes, mutters an apology and silences his music. Ray Dawson meets Logan Vance's gaze in the mirror and gives an almost imperceptible nod. The Naval Special Warfare Preparatory School sends a formal invitation asking Ray Dawson to speak at their graduation ceremony. He declines with a brief handwritten note that the school's commanding officer eventually frames and displays in his office. "Some of the best men I knew never made it home. Don't salute me, salute them." A local high school teacher, whose father served in the Navy, develops a curriculum unit called Modern Day Valor and Silence, focusing on how heroism often continues long after uniforms are put away, even without public acknowledgement. Ray Dawson's presence begins to shift the community's atmosphere. Veterans report being greeted more respectfully in local businesses. Military service becomes a topic of genuine interest rather than obligatory gratitude. On a rainy Tuesday, a distinguished man in a tailored suit boards bus 12 alone. His bearing immediately marks him as military despite his civilian clothes. Ray Dawson's eyes flicker briefly in recognition. The man, Senator Dale Connors, former SEAL and now head of the Armed Services Committee, says nothing. He simply rides the entire route, then places a challenge coin on the dashboard before departing. The coin, a SEAL Team 7 insignia from the era when both men served, remains on Ray Dawson's dashboard thereafter. Logan Vance, now nearing the end of his initial training, keeps a journal with observations about his daily bus rides. "Every day I ride that bus, I learn what discipline looks like in motion." Commander Dawson doesn't teach with words. He demonstrates with every turn of the wheel, every precisely timed stop, every scan of his mirrors. He's still on patrol, just a different kind. When another recruit asks Ray Dawson directly about his most heroic moment, the old driver's response is characteristically brief. Showing up the next day, he says, "I was always the next day." The recruit frowns, not understanding. Logan Vance explains later, he means courage isn't about one big moment. It's about continuing after the moment has passed, getting up and doing what needs to. Though Ray Dawson never acknowledges the growing reverence around him, his eyes, when they meet those of his military passengers, hold a depth of connection his silence cannot hide. On a bitter January morning, passengers waiting at the naval base stop are surprised when bus 12 arrives with a different driver. No explanation is offered. The replacement handles the route competently, but the military passengers notice the difference in every detail. The slightly delayed stops, the less precise turns. Ray Dawson's absence stretches to 3 days. Concern ripples through his regular passengers. On the 4th day, Ray Dawson returns his routine unchanged. He wipes the mirrors, checks the gauges, opens the door. Same boots, same silence, but there's something new. A folded American flag in a triangular display case secured behind his seat. No one asks, they understand. Someone has gone home for the final time at the back of the bus. Logan Vance removes his cap and holds it against his chest for the duration of the ride. Other military passengers follow suit. No words are exchanged, but Ray Dawson's eyes in the rearview mirror acknowledge their gesture. For 3 more years, Ray Dawson drives bus 12 with unwavering precision. His legend grows not through his words, but through his consistent presence. Young recruits begin their training, considering a ride on his bus a rite of passage. When the transit authority announces Ray Dawson's retirement, there is no formal ceremony at his explicit request. On his final morning, he arrives to find every seat filled with veterans, active duty personnel and recruits, all in civilian clothes, but their bearing unmistakable. The entire 40-minute road passes in complete silence. When Ray Dawson pulls into the transit center for the last time, he finds the small fleet of buses, arranged in formation around a newly installed monument in the center of the lot. Heroes don't announce themselves, they drive the route every day. Ray Dawson reads it, once nods almost imperceptibly and collects his few personal items. As he walks away, the assembled passengers who have quietly exited the bus form a line on either side of his path. No one salutes, no one speaks, but each stands at perfect attention. As he passes at the lot's edge, Logan Vance, now an officer, waits beside a navy blue pickup truck. "Need a ride, Commander?" Ray Dawson pauses, then nods once. "Appreciate it, Lieutenant." A photographer from the base newspaper captures the moment. A weathered man with a duffel bag walking away from a bus while 20 service members stand in silent respect. The image goes viral within military communities. The caption simple yet profound. Commander Ray Dawson, SEAL Team 7, never needed a stage, just a steering wheel. The legend of the silent bus driver eventually fades from daily conversation, but new recruits at the naval base still hear it during their orientation. Excellence isn't about recognition. Their instructors tell them it's about doing what needs to be done when it needs doing, whether anyone notices or not. Just like the man who drove Bus 12. Subscribe to Steelheart Stories if you believe real honor rides in silence.